I received a game key for Hotel Infinity from Future Friends Games for review purposes. Hotel Infinity arrives from Studio Sheer, the developer and publisher behind Manifold Garden, as a puzzle-driven VR experience designed for MetaQuest and PlayStation VR 2. Released on November 13th of 2025, it's built on a deceptively simple premise. Explore an impossible hotel that folds, loops, rewrites itself, and refuses to obey the rules of Euclidean space. The game leans on portals, clever redirection techniques, and subtle architectural illusions to create the sensation of traversing vast environments while physically walking within a small room-scale footprint. Whether played with a full 2x2 meter space or in stationary mode, Hotel Infinity makes a strong first impression, citing MC Escher as an inspiration without ever feeling derivative. It's an inventive showcase of VR spatial design, and a small but memorable entry in the growing niche of natural movement virtual reality games. There isn't exactly a traditional story, but Hotel Infinity sprinkles just enough narrative threads to keep you guessing. You arrive at a lone hotel in the middle of nowhere, check in your suitcase, and receive a room key. Everything about the setup seems mundane until you begin navigating its overlapping hallways. Once inside your room, you unpack a few personal items before discovering that your suitcase hides slots designed for mysterious orbs you'll later collect. These anomalies appear throughout the hotel's maze-like wings, hinting that they help stabilize or manipulate the space itself. Little clues suggest your character may have done this before, or perhaps the hotel is a manifestation of a deeper internal world, a mind palace collapsing and reforming around half-buried memories. There's no concrete resolution, but speculation becomes part of the fun. If nothing else, Hotel Infinity sets the stage for a potential sequel that could finally crack open the meaning behind all this surreal architecture. Moment to moment, the gameplay is far more straightforward than its reality-bending visuals imply. There's always one main path forward, but how you move through it is where the puzzles and the game's identity really take shape. Playing in true room scale is clearly the intended experience, letting the hotel unfold around you as you naturally walk, but the stationary mode works genuinely well. You can rotate and reorient freely, even if the lack of smooth turning is a noticeable omission. In a game so dependent on looking and flowing through space, snap turns can interrupt the sense of presence, especially for players who prefer fluid camera control and don't experience motion sickness. Still, the design is smartly adaptable, and the traversal tricks, doors looping you back into different versions of the same hallway, staircases that deposit you at their own base, elevators that disguise spatial rotations, make even simple movement feel like a puzzle. Interactivity is sprinkled throughout without ever overwhelming the core idea. You'll open drawers and cabinets, shift objects, rotate electrical components, and rearrange pieces of small mechanical contraptions. The puzzles themselves are generally easy, keeping the game's pace brisk and approachable. Some of them simply ask you to manipulate your surroundings to pass through a newly reconfigured space. Others involve sliding layers into the correct slots or aligning parts of a device to activate the next doorway. Nothing is particularly mind-bending, but the simplicity works in the game's favor. This isn't a brain burner, it's a VR spatial experience that uses puzzles as a steady rhythm rather than a barrier. The downside is that seasoned puzzle players may wish for a little more complexity. That said, the design feels intentionally restrained, likely laying the groundwork for more ambitious ideas in a follow-up. As a VR experience, Hotel Infinity shines. Standing somewhere impossible, dangling from the top of a skyscraper before turning a corner that leads you along its side, or watching gravity break as hallways fold into one another, is consistently delightful. The game uses verticality, disorientation, and perspective tricks to sell the illusion that you're walking through an infinite structure, even when you're physically pivoting within a few feet. Simply turning your head can reveal new angles or sudden shifts in the environment, and there's genuine joy in seeing where a corner, staircase, or portal leads. Height illusions in particular land remarkably well. Looking down from dizzying heights in VR never gets old, and Hotel Infinity leans into that thrill. Visually, the game looks clean, elegant, and cohesive. Its art style blends minimalistic surfaces with striking architectural forms, allowing the hotel's shifting geometry to take center stage without feeling sterile. Environmental variety is surprisingly strong for such a short game. Grand ballrooms, hedge mazes, floating platforms, spiraling halls, and bent skyscraper exteriors all pop with clarity. Particle effects and environmental breakdowns help sell the illusion that the hotel is constantly rewriting itself. On PSVR 2, everything holds up nicely, with crisp textures and smooth performance. The audio design is one of the game's pleasant surprises. Much of the soundtrack is light and cheerful, but certain areas shift to a more hollow, eerie tone that gives the experience a subtle backrooms-like energy. There are no jump scares and nothing explicitly frightening, yet the emptiness of the hotel carries a unique weight, reinforcing the idea that your character may be wandering through a psychological space as much as a physical one. The music and ambient cues fold themselves into the world seamlessly, and moments of quiet unease help break up the otherwise playful tone. In the end, Hotel Infinity delivers a focused, imaginative VR journey that succeeds on the strength of its world, its illusions, and its use of physical space. Its biggest drawback is simply its length. Most players can finish it in 1 to 2 hours, and the $20 price point may feel steep for those who measure value strictly by runtime. But the experience itself is memorable, polished, and consistently inventive. I enjoyed my time with it thoroughly, and expect to revisit it more than once. It's the kind of VR game that is fun to show to friends and rewarding to re-experience with fresh eyes. While there's room for expanded mechanics, harder puzzles, and deeper storytelling, the foundation is exceptional. For VR enthusiasts who appreciate spatial creativity and impossible architecture, Hotel Infinity is a clear recommendation. I give Hotel Infinity a 7.5 out of 10.